Before we do that, Priyanka, tell us what's been happening in the US markets and how they closed on Friday.
Morning, Snehi. In fact, it was one of the best week for US markets last week for S&P and Dow. It's the sixth consecutive winning week for US markets last week, and majorly on the back of the earnings. 79% of the earnings reported so far, they have been upbeat on the analyst expectation, and that's one trigger which is driving the US markets to new highs now. Now, of course, there are other reasons also which are in the loom, but then let's understand what happened on Friday. Dow, and of course, in fact, the key indicators, you talk about Dow Jones, S&P. This was one of the best week for the indices last week. The fresh highs we've seen on both the indices, and in fact, experts are talking about that there could be choppiness because, of course, we are heading towards presidential elections. But then let's not forget that the earnings which is driving the market sentiment, and not just India, even in US markets also. We saw in the back home also how banks led recovery. We saw on Friday in US, we've seen good earnings, a good set of earnings coming in from the banks there, and that's what we saw. The Dow and S&P both reported a good set of move last week. In fact, S&P ended the week on a higher note by 1% higher at least, and even Dow closed nearly 1% higher last week. Nasdaq in fact climbed 0.8%. So on an average, not just the Friday, even the whole week gone by was that we've seen on the higher note only. That's what we saw. In fact, this is what is in fact weighing on the globally markets also, the sentiment.
Absolutely.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.